Hey y'all, it's Matt and Megan with the Traveling Texans. So we spent the last month in Thailand, most of that in Ao Nang, Thailand. And while we'd been there before, this was my third trip to Thailand. It's Megan's second. We've been to Ao Nang before. This is the first time that we've been with kids. So these are 7 things that we wish we knew before we traveled to Thailand with kids. Yeah.
Okay, first one is car seats are almost non-existent in Thailand. So we purchased little vest car seat things so we could probably get the kids strapped into vehicles coming going, but most vehicles are not even equipped with the correct seat belts or the right attachments to attach any of these car seats. A lot of the kids in Thailand travel on motorbikes, no car seats, no helmets. They travel by tuk-tuk, so that was the little motorbike carts that we took. Really, there's no way to fasten the kids in. So we did plan, and I think we did use the car seat attachment maybe once going to and from the airport possibly.
Mm-hmm.
That vehicle was equipped, but all the other vehicles that we rode in really didn't have anything suitable for kids. So we would just do the lap belts if they had them, and just, held on tight to the kids. Just use caution. We didn't go very far in the cars. But that was really just something we tried to plan for, and it's just not a thing in Thailand.
Yeah, luckily, drivers are different over here than they are in the US, meaning there's not much road rage. Cars pull out in front of others, and it's just, kind of expected, and it's no big deal. So I feel safer with my kids driving around without a car seat or anything like that over here than I would in the US.
For sure.
Yeah.
And speed limits were not as high. They weren't 70 or 80 miles per hour like they are when we're in Texas. So
yeah.
Plan ahead, but know that you might have to be flexible with children, car restraint.
And they make some others. They make some booster seats, but we couldn't find any. They were all out of stock. So, and it's, it's another thing to travel around with. It's something good though that you want to make room for, but we couldn't find any before we left.
Number 2. This is the mosque. In Thailand, they have mosque, which is their places of worship, and they do their prayers certain times throughout the day. So probably about 4 to 5 times a day, there is speakers throughout Thailand where you can hear the
you hear the local mosque.
Yep.
And you hear their prayers. And the issue that we ran into, and it wasn't huge, but it's an inconvenience, was sometimes those prayers are going off at 2:30 in the morning. And this is mainly where we're at. We didn't notice it whenever we stayed before. We were at a resort.
Right.
But where we were, right down the road was a mosque, and right next door there were some dogs. And every time that you'd hear the prayers, the dogs, especially at night, would just start howling. And so that would scare Heidi, even though she's got her sound machine going. Wake her up in the middle of the night. But
we got used to it. It took her about 3 weeks though to sleep through the night, and she does regularly sleep through the night. But 2:30, the mosque, the dogs, Heidi would wake up and get her to go back to sleep, and then it would happen again around 5:30 or 6 in the morning. So just something to
think about. If you're staying here, you're staying in a neighborhood, and there is a neighborhood mosque, just be prepared for the prayers. And if there's dogs around, there's all these little variables and stuff. But yeah.
Yep.
Okay, the third thing is restaurant wait times can be longer than we're used to in the US, because they're not always going to be you go in the US, and Megan knows this because she used to be a server, but you sit down and they're going to ask you, hey, what can we get you started with? Some appetizers, what can I get you drinks, all that. That's not going to happen. So you almost have to let them know that you're ready to order. And because they're going to, in most places, they're going to seat you, and then they'll walk away and then give you time to look at the menu. And then whenever you're ready, you let them know. So they're not going to come over there and stand over your shoulder and hey, what can I get you started with? And I'm sure they're still going to do Megan used to do, because she's a server. As soon as you take a couple of bites and you got a mouthful of food, and be like, how's your food? And you're like,
But
Yeah.
what we ran into is that usually when you put your order in, you would order your drinks, a starter, and a meal at the same time, and then they would all come out at the same time. So the wait time with kids felt a lot longer. So the first couple of times we would just have meltdowns because we'd go into a restaurant and these kids are expecting to eat in 15 minutes. And really, like, they're firing up the grill sometimes as soon as we walk in. They're not, this isn't a, places where everything's always hot and ready. They're starting the whole prepping when we walk in and order. So we would bring snacks or things to do to try and offset that. Sometimes the kids would have 2 or 3, snacks before we, even ordered. But that worked. We just had to plan ahead.
Because if you got kids and, you're watching this, that kids have 2 stomachs. They have a meal stomach and they have a snack stomach. And that meal stomach's going to get full real quick, but that snack stomach, it seems like it never gets full. So.
Yep. So just longer wait times. Plan ahead.
The next is the rainy season. So we went during the rainy season, and we've been before, but it wasn't rainy season. And we can tell you that rainy season is humid, super humid. Oh my goodness. Like, you just walk out and you're sweating already, and you've only walked 100 yards, 50 yards, something like that. So make sure that you're bringing plenty of water and stuff for your kids. We lucked out because before we left, Heidi would almost exclusively drink milk. We tried to give her water and she didn't want it. But in Thailand, she wanted the water. So that was good.
And some of your activities too. We would try and go for walks or go places, and at 1 o'clock right after it rained, it was just too humid, for us. So we would wait, either do things after, in the afternoon or early morning before the rain.
Yeah, and we say rainy season, but it's not horrible. It might rain once, maybe twice during the day. Normally it's just once, but it wouldn't last very long and it wouldn't be super heavy. And you could almost predict it. But if you're there long enough, just if you need to, if you're going to be out and about and unsheltered, take an umbrella with you.
Yep.
But it kind of like Florida. So, it's going to rain. So kind of the mid-afternoon, you throw your umbrella up real quick and it's over with and you get along, your day. But just make sure you hydrate. Make sure the kids hydrate because it is warm already and it will be super humid, and that's just going to, suck the water out of them. So.
Yep. And still go do things. We still did things. We just brought our umbrella and we'd look for shelter. It'd pass and then we'd keep going.
Yep.
So number 5 is there are hazards everywhere. There is no OSHA in Thailand. So when you go to restaurants or when you're walking, just be super aware of what's around you. There was road construction on our street and they had opened up these big holes to the ground. It's maybe like a 4-foot drop and they were maybe 3 feet by 3 feet. Something that kids could easily, or adults could easily fall into, but there's no caution tape or cones or anything, just letting you know that there are hazards. A lot of the restaurants that we did go to were up in the trees and they had railings, but these railings were not anything that was safe for kids to just be alone.
Especially little ones. They could easily go through it or take a dive down.
A lot of power lines, you'd see just electrical cords just down. You don't know if they're live or not live, just keep the kids away. We walked the monkey trail and there was a wire that was down. I don't know, but there's no preventative caution setups, to alert you of these things. So even just window locks, we've seen other places, windows that didn't really secure properly on first or second floors, stairwells, they don't have proper railings. Like in our Airbnb, the railings weren't a super tall height. So easily the kids could throw things over, so just.
With Airbnb though, they did good. The one that we stayed at, because while there was a huge gap between the bottom and the top, they put a board there so nobody could go through it. You'd have to go over it and neither one of the kids could climb over it, but yeah.
So just
lucky that way.
New restaurants or new rooms, don't assume that they're safe first. Go check them out yourselves. Make sure you're checking electrical and windows and railings and all of that stuff. And we held a lot of hands and made sure they weren't far.
Yeah, because while people drive slower and everything, there is a lot of traffic. So make sure your kids are holding your hands and everything too. It's just we didn't see anything bad happen while we were there, but obviously anywhere it could, but that's anywhere. The next thing is Thai people, they're going to touch your kids a lot. They love kids. So just be prepared for that. You know, they're going to be over there and they're going to want to just like touch your babies or, you know, touch your little ones and play with them, and they're smiling. They absolutely love kids. They might even pick them up if they're, you know, walking around the restaurant or whatnot. But that's just be prepared for it. But it's a good thing. They love children. They're great with them. So just, you know, be just a heads up for that.
Yeah.
So,
and we taught our kids that if they didn't want, you know, to give high fives or hugs or anything like that, you know, it's okay. You just say no thank you, and we support that too. But I mean, yeah, they always were touching Heidi's hair, and you know, they were just all, you know, they would take pictures with the kids.
Oh yeah.
You know, they were just very all
very,
about them.
Yeah, they're very loving, and they love to give them attention and everything. So just a heads up on that, and you know, don't worry about it. Like, I remember always hearing this story whenever so my dad was in the Air Force, and my mom and my older sister went to Korea with him when he got stationed over in Kunsan. And there was one day that my mom was with my sister, and my sister was probably maybe 2 years old, 1.5, 2 years old. And she turned around, she wasn't there. And so my mom's panicking. And, you know, somebody's like, oh, she's over there, she's over there. Well, a couple of the girls had taken her over into like this little shop or whatever, wanted to give her like an apple. And I mean, they're not necessarily here. We haven't experienced that or anything where somebody's going to pick them up and take them somewhere to give them something. But I mean, people were giving them things and whatnot. Yeah. But it's just part of the culture, and you know, they just love kids. And
yeah, and they don't see a lot of, you know, especially with Heidi, you know, blonde hair and blue eyes. There's not a lot of that in Thailand. So they were always trying to take pictures of her. And the kids, we went shopping one day, Christy and I and the kids, and I mean, every shop gave them something. Yeah. There was a picture or bananas, cookies, I mean, just anything. So it just took a little bit of getting used to.
Yep.
Okay, the last one is some children's things are hard to find. So we had trouble finding sunscreen and swim diapers. Those are two things that we use all the time in Texas. So I've never found disposable swim diapers in Thailand. We ended up ordering the reusable swim diapers, which have worked, from a website that we found. And then sunscreen. Lazada's the website. It's kind of like Amazon for over here. You order it and then it was there within like maybe 3 to 4 days. And then sunscreen was also something that was a little bit difficult to find, and with the kids being outside all day, and Heidi Heidi, she still gets burnt like on her head. She doesn't wear a hat very well. So we did find some, but it's kind of just hunt. Don't wait till you're out of it to try and replenish, because it's not easy to find.
You can find it there, but it's expensive. Like a small thing like this might be, you know, $14, $15, which I mean can be worth it. I'd spend $15 not to get a sunburn, but if you're going for a short time, bring your own sunscreen. Yep. That's for sure.
And same thing, short period of time, swim diapers. The reusable ones are by far, not the reusable, the disposable ones are by far the easiest. When you're at the beach and you have sand in there and they have an accident, you can just rip it off, throw it away, and do another one. So convenience was nice, but the reusable ones, you know, they work too. We just bring lots of plastic bags to transport a used one in.
And if you order them off of Lazada, and if it says 1 pack, it's not 1 pack. It's a one pack.
Diaper.
It's a 1 pack. It's 1 diaper.
Yeah, we ordered 3 packs. I didn't know how many were in there. I thought maybe, you know, 15 to 20 diapers would show up. We got 3 diapers. So no problem. We learned.
Yep. So yeah, so those are 7 things that we wish we knew coming to Thailand with kids. So before we came here. If you've got any questions or anything about anything else, drop a comment below. Also, make sure you like the video, you subscribe, you do all that. We appreciate all y'all watching and everything. And yeah, any questions, though, we'd be happy to answer them, because Thailand was the first one, Bali's the second, and we'll do another video about what we wish we knew about Bali too, because we've never been there.
All right.
All right, y'all take care. We'll see you in the next video.
Bye.